morning and welcome to Biblia News. I am Susie News. This week's top stories. HSC exams commence this week across the state of New South Wales. Join us as we see how students have been finding it so far. But we cross to our Kids Church Kate for some local news.
Hello, I'm Kids Church Kate from the Kids Church news station. We have had recent word that the cane toads are migrating south. Scientists say that this migration has increased over the recent months. In related news, we have had recent sightings of Keith in and around Brisbane.
Please stay with us as that story develops. Over the past few weeks here on Biblia News, we have been spending time thinking about prayer. But as usual, here on Biblia News, we are shaking things up. Over the next few weeks, we will actually be having a look at the book of John. Joining me in the studio once again to talk about this is Just Meg. Just Meg, thank you so much for joining us on the program once again. It has been a while.
Hey everyone, Suze, it certainly has been a while. How are you?
Can't complain, honestly, cannot complain. Now Just Meg, we are moving to a different topic altogether. So what can you tell us about this book of John?
Well, we know that it was written a super long time ago, soon after the time that Jesus actually went back up to heaven, and it was written by the disciple who Jesus loved, a guy called John, and it gives an eyewitness account to various things Jesus did while he was here on earth.
An eyewitness account, you say? Well, we really like those here on Biblia News. You see, it deepens a news story.
For sure, and you know, that's what this book does for us with Jesus.
So what sorts of things has it talked about so far?
Well, it covers a lot of ground, and I have this handy little graphic to help us. But the very first chapter actually talks about this word, the word that was there when it all began. Can you take a guess, Suze, as to who this word might be?
Who is it talking about? Now, how is a word a person? Just a shot in the dark. Is it Jesus?
Yes, exactly. It's talking about Jesus. It tells us super clearly that Jesus was there when God created it all, and that all things have been made through Jesus, and that he is God.
Wow, that's pretty exciting.
And then it goes on the rest of the chapter to tell us a bunch of names that were given to Jesus, each of which tell us something different about him. Now these names, we can kind of think of them as like a nickname that we could get from our friends or family.
Just like Just Meg, I guess. So it's quite a crazy first chapter then, Just Meg. So what happens next?
Well, chapters 2 to 12 then talk about a lot of the things that Jesus did, including 7 signs. Each of these increase in amazingness over the course of the book, and you can see some of them, well, you can see all of them just here, but just to name a few, Jesus did things like turn water to wine, he healed a paralyzed man, he walked on water, and he even rose someone from the dead.
Oh my goodness. And all of this must show us Jesus' power and who he truly is.
It sure does, Suze.
Wow.
Exactly.
So I assume that we're then going to go from there. So what can we expect from, this term, from the next few chapters?
Well, Suze, we're actually going to spend most of our time looking at the few days before Jesus died on the cross. We're going to see him spending one last night with his boys, his disciples, and he actually says some truly amazing things that give us hope even today, as well as those guys back then.
So then tell me, Just Meg, it gives us hope today, but did John ever tell us why he wrote it?
That is an awesome question, Suze. And at the very end of John, the writer actually tells us directly why he wrote this all down. He says in verse 30 to 31 of John chapter 20, Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. So John wanted us to believe in Jesus, to know that he truly is who he says he is, and that he died on the cross and came back to life again after 3 days for us, to forgive us, to save us from our sins, which ultimately restores our relationship and friendship with God. And to be honest, Suze, all of these signs here, they're all pretty amazing, but the most powerful one is definitely Jesus doing this for us.
That truly is incredible, especially that someone way back in time cared about others and wanted to share this news. It definitely sounds like something we should be doing, doesn't it, Just Meg?
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Just
Thank
Meg.
you, Suze. I hope you guys are keen. We'll see you, team.
I hope that you at home are as excited as I am to learn from John over the next few weeks. Now we will hear a message from our sponsors. Please stay with us.